Hello and welcome to the Pigeon Academy show. Wherever you might be watching or wherever you might be listening from, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, we are coming to you live from the Big Apple, New York City. This is the #1 leading pigeon show coming out of the United States. I am your charismatic host, Rodney G, and we will be having an outstanding show today. Today, we're going to be talking about all levels of feeding right here at the Pigeon Academy show live stream. You're going to be able to check out this show sometime later. Again, I am your host, Rodney G, and welcome to the Pigeon Academy show. We are going to go through some very good information this hot afternoon here in the NYC, and we're going to be going over some really good information. What's up, Tom DiMartino? Tom, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to put a nice show together today. I believe this show is going to help a lot of beginner and intermediate flyers, but mainly beginners. This show is going to cover the feeding of our fine feathered friends, the pigeons. Today's show is going to be covering some really good information on feeding. Now, let me start breaking down some of the things that have recently occurred that have motivated me to put this video together this afternoon. We're in flying season right now for regular pigeons, and we're in racing season for your homing pigeons. Those are the two predominant fields right now, which are your flying pigeons and your racing pigeons. There are some shows getting ready to occur, but the main frame of the bulk of the bird season right now is the racing, flying, and I'm going to say show season. So what we're doing today is we're going to put some information together. And a lot of this information is going to be available to you on the rebroadcast, where you can go to the Pigeon Academy show page and our YouTube Pigeon Academy show page, and you're going to be able to take some great notes, and it's going to give you a foundation on how you should be feeding your pigeons. First of all, let's deal with some of the issues at hand that come with pigeons. Okay? There are 4 seasons that you should be concerned about. There are 4 seasons. One of them is the flying season, the molting season, your winter season, and then the spring comes, your breeding season. A lot of people do breed in the winter, but I'm going to say that's mainly your homing pigeon guys. So what we're going to cover today is we're going to cover those 4 classes: flying, molting, winter, and of course, your breeding seasons. Now, to really bring this in perspective, I want to cover these 4 things, okay? And I just want to go and I want to show these are the 4 classes that we're dealing with today. We're dealing with these 4 classes today. Again, which is your flying, molting, winter, and breeding. Okay? Now, in this classification, to bring the perspective even further, I want to talk about the 4 classes of pigeons, the 3 classes of pigeons that we see most of the time. Okay? And here are the classes of pigeons that we see most of the time. Okay? Let me make sure I got everything that I need here. I will need you guys to be patient with me today because I think this is going to be one of our very good shows. So here's the 4 class. Here's some of the classes of pigeons that we're dealing with. Okay. You have your short-faced pigeon. Okay. A lot of different pigeons come in this classification, which are short-faced. To maintain these pigeons, you need a certain level. You need a certain level of health and feeding and care for what's known as a short-faced pigeon, okay? And they come in all different things: Triplets, Budapest, tumblers, you name it. All the different classes, they come in these short-faced pigeons. You have to know how to feed these short-faced pigeons in your flying, molting, winter, and breeding. So if you're following along, now you're starting to understand where I'm coming from. Then you have your medium-faced pigeons. A lot of different classifications come with these pigeons: rollers, tumblers, tipplers. I mean, you see a lot of these different birds are coming in these classifications. Your short-faced, your medium-faced pigeons. Okay, you're going to see a lot of these birds, and you're going to be dealing with a lot of these birds, because mainly these are the birds most pigeon fanciers keep: short-faced, medium, and your long-faced birds. Our biggest concern as pigeon fanciers is, how do we care for these birds? How do we feed these birds during these seasons? What mixes, what medications, what supplements are these birds going to need in these different seasons? Because if you feed a bird, you can't feed a bird a molting mix. You can during breeding, but the bird is not going to get the total benefit of that. What we're talking about today is how to feed these 4 classes of pigeons. Okay, and we're going to go back to your short-faced pigeons, to your medium-faced pigeons, and of course, your long-faced pigeons. Okay, so you're going to see these different classes of birds, but also we're going to cover some information on some of the very common birds that we see most of the time. And here go a lot of the birds that are kept most of the time. Okay, and these are the birds. I'm going to go through this very short list, and then we're going to get deep into it. Your homing pigeons. Most of your homing pigeons are medium and long face that we keep. Those exotic short-faced birds, we don't really see a lot of those birds. So I'm talking about what's most common that we deal with. Of course, there's some exotic birds. I'm not talking about the exotic birds. Today's information does not cover racing. This covers your flying birds, pretty much your flying birds in all these different classifications. Okay, so some people do keep homers just to fly. I call it non-racing homing pigeons. Very common. Okay, so we get a chance. We see a lot of these birds. Okay, so I'm going to bring up some more pictures. And here go a lot of your common pigeons that you see all the time. Tipplers. Very common bird. A lot of fanciers keep tipplets, whether it's in the United States or abroad. You'll see a lot of these birds. Real common birds, your roller pigeons. Now, the feeding that we're going to go over today, is going to cover a lot of these birds, whether they're short, medium, or long face. But we're talking about your most common birds that most pigeon fanciers keep. Roller birds. Your flights. Very common pigeon throughout the suburbs, cities, and countrysides. Beautiful, beautiful white flighted, beautiful birds. So these are a lot of the birds that, again, most fanciers keep. I thought I had some pictures of some Budapest in here. And we also want to put in there the Budapest also. There they go. This is becoming a very common bird. How do you feed these birds in these 4 seasons? You're flying, molting, winter, and your breeding season. So let's see if we can get down to the nitty-gritty on how these birds should be fed. So I'm going to take down some of these pictures, these photos, and I'm going to see if I can get us right into the mix. Again, this video is going to be more beneficial to you on the rebroadcast. Okay, so let's go up here and let's bring in some of this information. Okay, and you know you're watching the Pitching Academy show with your guy, Rodney G. Okay, I'm going to go to desktop and I'm going to grab some information, and we're going to go to the Baden site. Today's information is coming from two different sites. From the Baden site, okay, welcome back to part 2 of the Pigeon Academy show. Welcome back to Feeding 101. Again, I'm your host, Rodney G. We are going to finish covering the first video that we did, and this is part 2 of our video. You can catch part 1 on Facebook or YouTube, and we're going to finalize part 2. Let me just summarize some of video part 1, where we were talking about the 3 classes, which is your short, medium, and long face pigeon, and all the different strains and type of pigeons that come in those classifications. Then we were talking about the 4 seasons, your flying, molting, winter, and breeding. So now we're going to come with the information that's going to benefit you being a beginner pigeon fancier. What you need to understand during these seasons, which supplements, which grit you need to be purchasing and supplying your pigeons during these seasons. So one of the sites we're going to go to the Baden site. And in the Baden site, we're going to see some really good mixes coming from Baden. You should be able to follow me on my page. And you go right here to the pigeon section. And there you have all of your Baden mixes. This is what you're going to be able to see. All you have to do is go to their site, which is badenfeed.com. I want you to follow along with me. Of course, getting information sometimes is about taking good notes. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into some of the feeds and show you some of the feeds. If you're dealing with your short face and your medium face birds, a lot of those birds are medium in size. Okay? They're medium in size, medium wing birds. A lot of your long face pigeons or your bigger pigeons, bigger wings, they require more nutrition than the other birds. So let's start off with flying bird mixes for those 3 classes. Okay? Let's start off with some flying bird mixes for those 3 classes, okay? I'm going to go to one, let's say, for the short face pigeon. This is a feed that you can use for your short face, your short and medium face pigeons right here. This is the Baden Tippler mix. This is your Baden Tippler mix. It has Canadian peas, trapeze, popcorn. Let me say this. Popcorn is, I use popcorn with my tipplers. I don't feed it heavy to them, but this is a good mix that Baden has. Has red hard wheat in it, Milo, millet, barley. This is a really good mix for your short and medium faced pigeons that they can take on a regular. And again, it's good for them. You don't want to be flying short and medium faced birds, I don't care what classification they are, with heavy mixes. Some of your bigger birds, they're going to require more feed. Here's a good food right here. Your Superfly mix. Your Superfly mix is a really good during the flying season mix to use on your larger pigeons, like your flights, maybe your long-faced Canadians, your big birds like that, Russian high flyers, all of those big class birds with long faces, they're going to require a different level of nutrition. You can't feed all the birds the same mixes. This is Superfly mix. This is a Baden mix. It's got yellow corn, red corn, wheat, safflower, maple peas, Canadian peas. Again, if you overfeed any pigeon, they're not going to fly. All of this information is, of course, all coming from moderation. Anything you do with the birds, you must do it in moderation. Okay? If you overfeed any bird, you are going to have problems with the birds flying. Okay? They are not going to fly for you. So now, you can have your tippler mixes. There's a lot of mixes like the conditioner mix that you can utilize for your feeding. It's a little heavy. It's got a lot of good grains in it, like the Milo and the millet and the soft flour and the canary seed, your brown rice, red Milo. It's a little on the heavy side. This is a mix that I would strain and get a lot of the big grains out because it has a lot of good nutrition. We're going to go into some mixes later and talk about the straining of mixes and the benefits that come from that. So that is the conditioner mix. The tipplets like your high flying birds like that, they do require a lot of different mixes. But today we're going to just keep it where your short, medium, and long faced birds. So far we've shown you a couple of mixes, your tippler mixes and your Superfly mix for the flying season. Once your birds come into the molting season, you need to get the mixes that's going to help them with their molt. And here's one of the Baden mixes right here. This is a molting mix. It's got a lot of barley in it. It's got a lot of Milo in it. Canelo seeds. It's got red millet, trapper peas. When you're dealing with the molt, you definitely want to add in some more nutrition. I'm going to show you some vitamins and supplements that you could get for your pigeons during those seasons. I'm going to go now and we're going to look at some winter mix. Okay? Now, you could also find some other mixes like Mutine and Depurative, which are also good for the molting season. But today, we're just going to stay with the Baden mixes, and then we're going to go from there. Winter time comes, you want to have the right mix for your birds. This is a really good mix here for your winter birds, especially if you're on the East Coast. You know you're going to need a lot of protein. You're going to need a lot of carbohydrates. Your birds need certain nutrition. This is the Baden Winter Pigeon Mix. This is really good, especially for your long-faced pigeons, your bigger pigeons. This has your yellow corn, your red corn, green peas, maple, your Canadian, your trapper peas. And this is really good. The birds need great nutrition during the winter to stay warm. And these are the mixes that you should highly consider. Take a look at all the mixes right here on the Baden page, and you'll see a lot of these mixes. Now let's go into some of your breeding mixes. Here are some of your breeding mixes here. And you can't go wrong with Baden feed. Baden has a lot of really good mixes that you can get. And I'm going to bring up one of the mixes here. Okay. They got the conditioner. And I'm going to bring this up here. I don't actually see the breeding mix, but I'm going to utilize one of the feeds that's similar to a breeding mix that you could use. Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. Here goes your breeding mix. And this is good for your long-faced birds and your medium-faced birds. I believe in feeding your medium-faced birds. I don't care what classification it is. Your long-faced birds, during the breeding season, your birds need corn, they need wheat, they need peas, especially your maple peas and your Canadian peas. You're going to get your safflower. You're going to get your red millet in this mix. Your birds are going to need all these levels of nutrition. They're going to need all these levels of nutrition. And this is a good breeder's mix coming from Baden. It is essential. Your short-faced birds, you might have to go and put together a lot of different small seeds, but I would highly recommend, if those birds can digest peas and corn, I would always suggest popcorn and the smallest pea that you can find. If those birds cannot digest that, find the smallest and best grains. And this, I'm going to make a suggestion right here. I'm going to make a suggestion on a mix that you could use, one of your small grain mixes, because you have to be able to take care of your birds, and they got to be able to eat. They got to be able to eat. So I'm going to suggest this mix right here. And this is a short-faced mix. You might be able to get away with, because what's in here? Australian peas, your white milo, your safflower, brown rice, your lentils, your hard red wheat, your white millet. I would suggest, if you're breeding short-faced birds, you go with this here as a breeding mix. And you should be able to get by. Because one of the things you want to make sure your youngsters are getting, they're getting their peas, they're getting safflower, they're getting milo. If you get those things into their digestive tract, you're going to breed some healthy birds. You're going to breed healthy birds. So we're going to come back now to the home page. And that was some of the mixes. The intention of this video today is to open your mind to where you need to be in the 4 seasons when it comes to flying, molting, winter, and of course your breeding season. You want to stay light during your flying seasons, but you want to have your nutrition. You want to have your vitamins. I'm going to go to the Versalaga. I'm going to go to the Versalaga site now, which is, this book here is Pointing the Way. And I want you to follow me. This is the Versalaga Pointing the Way. And we're going to go to vitamins. Let's see where vitamins are. Okay, vitamins is on page 86. So we're going to go all the way to page 86. This is a very good book. This is called Pointing the Way. It's a Versalaga book. And I'm going to keep it very simple when it comes to the nutrition that pigeons need. Here's one of the things right here that I'm going to suggest to utilize during the molting season. This is your beak oil. It promotes plumage, growth, and molt. It increases the appetite, and it helps in digestion with the liver function, and it purifies the blood. This is a very good vitamin, beak oil. You can find it on page 88 in your Versalaga book. And let me tell you, it has a lot of all your nutrition and everything that you need to know. So during your main seasons, if you're a beginner, don't complicate things. I'm going to go to one of the main vitamin that you should be using all year round. And here it is here. Come on. There it is. I'm going to bring it up. Your Combine Vita. Your Combine Vita you can use all year long. This is on page 82 in your Pointing the Way Versalaga book. If you don't have it, just go to the Versalaga site and look for Pointing the Way in the search box, and it will come up. Also, your grit. There's several different grits that you can use, but I will always suggest these two, which is your Pickstone and your All-in-One. These are essential. That Combine Vita, Versalaga All-in-One vitamin, it will cover you in all 4 seasons. Your flying season, your molting season, your winter, and of course your breeding season. These are the things that we are trying to share with you here at the Pigeon Academy Show. We want you to understand that there are different type of pigeons that require different type of feeding when they're flying, when they're molting. Like showbirds, they require a different level of molting nutrition than a regular flying bird. Like your racing bird during the molting season, they require a different level of nutrition. Yeah, Tom, we back. This is part 2 of our video, Feeding 101. You can catch part 1 on our Facebook and YouTube page, which is the Pigeon Academy Show. We went through a plethora of information pertaining to supplements for the 4 seasons. We went through some feed here on part 2, whether it was for short face, medium, or long face, whether that feed was for flying season, molting, winter, or your breeding season. You know you're watching the Pigeon Academy Show with your charismatic host, Rodney G. We are here to give you as much information. We don't want to be wasting your time. We want to bring you the best information. We want to get you on track so that you can give the best care possible and affordable to your pigeons. And a lot of it starts with a good dry loft. Very few pigeons. Don't overcrowd your pigeons. Good nutrition, which is your feed. Very few supplements. The flying pigeon does not require a lot of supplements. They don't require all these racing programs. You need to keep it very simple. This is our message today here at the Pigeon Academy. Keep it as simple as possible. Know which grains to feed your birds. Know which supplements to feed your birds. One of the products that we did not bring up here, which is not a Baden or Versalaga product, is your Primalac. And then you got all these different classes of things that you could use. All right. We got people watching this show today all the way from Libya, from North Africa. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in to the Pigeon Academy show and supporting us. This is a worldwide show. This is the #1 pigeon show coming out of the United States. We are about information. We are here to promote the sport and nothing else. I don't care about the vanity. We are here to promote this fine sport. And today's video was about nutrition. It was about feeding. Again, you can go to the site that where we were, which is the Baden site, and you can look at all the feeds that we talked about in these videos. You can go to the Versalaga page and check out Pointing the Way and start studying, then start applying. A lot of these pigeon products, a lot of them you might not even need. Again, during the molting season, certain mixes with your bee coil and your vitamins and your pigeons are good. Maybe some little bit of Primalac. And then there's so many different classes of probiotics, because that's what Primalac is. You have so many different families of probiotics after that. You can go on a pigeonfeed.com, Global Pigeon Supply. You can go on Jed's. You can go on Foy's. You know, you can go all the way down. I'm gonna bring up Tom DiMartino's comment right here. And I'm gonna say something to you, Tom. Tom says, I'm a fan of Baden products. Yeah, I bet you are, Tom. You guys have one of the top pigeon suppliers of Baden feeds out on Long Island, which is your Wellwood Pigeon Store, right? All that great. I mean, let me tell you, I need to get my lazy behind out to the Wellwood and stack up. I really love their mixes with the Primalac. A couple of years ago, I went out there and I stacked up. They had awesome feed out there. All the feeds that we talked about in this video today, all right, which is a very brief information on feeding. They have it out there in the Baden store. If we did a special on Versalaga, I would be saying go to Andrews in the Bronx, because they are the #1 supplier of Versalaga here on the East Coast. But if you're in the Midwest, you're on the West Coast, look up these distributors. Look them up. Look up Baden. Look up Versalaga. Look them all up. Tom says, good information. You guys got some of the best feed out there out on the island, Tom. I know you're a Baden fan. Great mixes. I went out there and I purchased, short story, I went out there and I purchased some. I went to Sal and I said, hey Sal, I want me a High Flyers mix, man. Sal was like, Rodney, come on, let's go. Went to the back, looked around. He was like, this. I was shocked. I said, what? I said, man, you holding on to all of that? He was like, yeah. Yeah. They're the #1 Baden distributor on the East Coast, which is Wellwood. That was spontaneous. Free plug to Wellwood. Some good people out there. Sal and his crew. Really good, really great pigeon people. Good people out there directing you. Good pigeon store right here in the Boogie Down Bronx, which is Global Pigeon Supply. You can find all these stores online. If not, I'll inbox you the information. We are trying to push this sport and this hobby in the right direction so people can enjoy this. Wayne Jackson said, good information. Thank you, Jackson. We're here promoting the sport. And today, again, we were talking about the high flyer. We were talking about the short face, medium face pigeon, your long-faced pigeon. We were talking about your flying season, molting season, winter, and of course, your breeding season. In other videos we're going to touch on in the very near future, we're going to touch on other videos pertaining to vaccination. We're going to touch on other videos pertaining to your everyday care. We're going to talk about dealing with paramyxo. We're going to be talking about dealing with your circle virus and Dino. Look for our videos in the very near future. You know it's your host, Rodney G of the Pigeon Academy Show. We're bringing you all this information to help you become a better pigeon fancier. We've brought some clarity to you on what's going on in the pigeon sport. Look for our videos. Again, we're on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Subscribe and like our channels. We're going to be ending the video now, but thank you for supporting the Pigeon Academy Show, and continue to watch. And if you have any questions, feel free to inbox me. It'll be my pleasure to answer these questions. And this has been your guy, Rodney G of the Pigeon Academy Show. And thank you.
Attention pigeon fanciers. Do you love racing pigeons, tipplers, rollers, and showbirds? Then you don't want to miss the exclusive content from the Pigeon Academy Show. For over 10 years, the Pigeon Academy has been bringing you the best interviews, top fanciers like Ken Easley, Mike Gannis, Gordon Meng, and much more. Now we're giving you even more, with behind-the-scenes footage, extended interviews, training tips, and special episodes you won't see anywhere. Subscribe today on our official Facebook page and get full access to premium videos, live Q&A sessions, and content made just for our subscribers. Don't miss out. Join our community of pigeon lovers and take your passion to the next level.